Happy New Year! Welcome back to Simming History, where we look at the history of architecture through the lens of The Sims. Before we get started today, if you like the video, please take a moment to hit like and subscribe. It helps out the channel. We ended last year with a video on the Historic American Building Survey. And we continue today with Prairie Architecture. Let's go back to about 1900. An architect by the name of Frank Lloyd Wright was setting up shop in Oak Park, Illinois, which is near Chicago. It was in this studio that he developed a style of architecture that is today's subject. Prairie architecture was inspired by several things. First, a desire to create a uniquely American architecture in a time where European style was what was being built, such as French Empire, Italianate, and various revivals. Second, he was inspired by arts and crafts architecture style, which, ironically, originated from Britain. Arts and crafts emphasized nature and traditional building crafts. Third, inspiration from the American architect Louis Sullivan, which called for a unique American style derived from nature that had an emphasis on place and modern lines. And so, Prairie was born. Prairie was also inspired by the flat plains of the American Midwest, an area of 12 states in the north-central region of the United States. I live in the Midwest. It is very flat here, which is fitting, as Wright described his style as, quote, married to the ground. The Chicago Architecture Center lists the following attributes for prairie architecture: strong geometry and massing, including large central chimneys, brick or stucco interiors, open asymmetric floor plans, connected indoor and outdoor spaces, interior wood banding, restrained use of applied ornamentation, an exploration of motifs, shapes or plants explored through furniture, wood carvings, plaster, and probably most famously, glass. In our building, we have the long, flat emphasis of horizontal lines through the flat roofs, prominent center, fireplace with chimney, brick and stucco, though in our case, I had to use a shingle because I needed a full wall material as well as a half wall, half stucco. And Sims simply did not have a half brick, half stucco wall. Our building also includes the ornamental windows, depicting geometry in the glass. Although, again, Sims doesn't have quite the right style. Now, if you're looking at a home and you're trying to determine if it's prairie versus arts and crafts or craftsman, you really do want to look for that emphasis on horizontal lines. It's one of the biggest giveaways, as well as the windows with the geometric patterns. Inside, you're looking for light shelves, which you'll see me add here shortly, and a lot of natural material use, such as stone and wood for the floors. The house I have been building is the Frederick B. Carter Jr. home in Evanston, Illinois, and it was the building that I searched for in the Haves video. This home was designed by Walter Burley Griffin, one of Frank Lloyd Wright's mentorees, but he set out to develop his own version of the prairie architecture style, which is why if you compare this to Wright's prairie buildings, they clearly share similar elements, but they are not quite the same thing. The original layout of this home on the first floor includes an entryway with a stair layout that is different than what is shown. I literally couldn't build the stairs as they were originally in Sims. It wouldn't allow me, and I spent a whole day trying to figure it out. In the back of the home, there was a kitchen and maid's room. Today, these rooms have been combined into a large kitchen with a pantry. There is a link down below that will let you view some interior photos. Sadly, they are copyrighted, so I can't include them in this. But if you want to pop those open while you're watching, that may be a good plan. There is also a living room with a large fireplace and built-in bookcases, a dining room with a built-in bar, and a sunroom off that dining room, or maybe originally a porch, that had been fully enclosed by the time that the Habs drawings were made. On the first floor, really the only significant changed area of the home since Habs drawings was the kitchen wing. On the second floor, there are 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a sunroom off of the master bedroom. Both bathrooms have been significantly updated, so the pictures that we have are not of the original features or layout. Also, if we compare the pictures that are available from the link to the Habs drawings, it seems that the few closets have been added over the years, which makes sense. Little known fact, Prairie homes don't actually have a lot in the way of closets or wide hallways. They don't. Frank Lloyd Wright was not a fan of hallways, and apparently he imparted that upon his students. But otherwise, the second floor is relatively unchanged. Though this video may seem relatively short, it's actually kind of appropriate because Prairie style was relatively short-lived. Though the goal may have been to create a popular, uniquely American style, its popularity began fading after 1915. However, unlike some other styles in the United States, plenty of buildings remain. There are about 400 remaining Frank Lloyd Wright homes alone, and that's not counting the homes designed by his students. And he taught a lot of students. So, though maybe not as prolific as, say, neoclassic buildings in the US, there are still ample examples, and many of them are now protected. So thanks for joining me today for Prairie Architecture. There are actually a couple more Prairie planned builds for this year, including one that is a vernacular style. Until next time, you can find me on Instagram at Simming History and on the Sims 4 gallery at Simming History, where there'll be playable versions of this and many other builds. Thanks to all the new subs. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe. When we hit 1,000, I'm doing a live build. So subscribe and share, and I'll see you all next time. Till then, bye.